time to start some trouble. It's not how much time you have. It's how you use it. Time is not on your side. I like hitting you. Good a time as any to act reckless. We'll do it the hard way.
Hey guys, welcome back. We are playing Ekko today. It is another character that we have seen from the Arcane series. It is an assassin and a diver. To quickly go through the basics for the newer players, his passive is similar to Electrocute in that it's a 3-hit passive, and you can proc it with abilities as well as auto attacks, and whenever you do so, it's going to deal bonus damage. This works on monsters, minions as well as champs. But if you hit champions with it, then you also get some burst of movement speed. His Q is this damaging ability that can deal damage twice. It deals damage when you use it and also when it returns, so it can give you 2 stacks of that passive. At level 1 here, since you're a melee champ and most of the time you're playing against ranged matchups, you just use this to last hit with. Remember that most of the damage is in the second part of this ability, in the returning part. But now that you have level 2, you have this dashing ability. First part of it is a dash and then the second one will be a blink. Now you can kind of proc your passive, guys. So it's important that you try to hit the opponent with both parts of your Q, so you get 2 stacks of the passive and then you use that E to engage with. Very important thing to know here is that your Q is pretty easy to dodge because it's a skill shot. So what a lot of Ekko players like to do is that they use the E and Q at the same time, so you kind of hide the animation. So it becomes a lot harder to dodge. When you hit people with a Q, it will also slow the opponent. So that also gives you a chance to catch up. Your W is this zone that will slow people. It also gives you vision. It will slow people, and then once it fully forms and you are inside it, it is going to stun. This is like what makes Ekko a really strong diver, really powerful champ later on as well, especially in teamfights, is that if you hit multiple people with this W zone, it gives you a massive shield and it also stuns everyone inside it. So it really gives you a lot of power in those teamfights as long as you can use it properly. If you are in vision, guys, then people know that this W zone is coming up because it makes that sound. So what you can do is that if you go out of vision, if you use it from the fog of war, they will only be able to see the second part of it. So it's a lot easier to hit people when you are out of vision. So try to do that most of the time because that is going to give you a lot of those surprise stuns on the opponent. So on Ekko, of course, you're playing around that 3-hit passive, as well as the Electrocute. You go for these short trades and then you just back off. That extra bonus movement speed you get from whenever you proc the passive on champs, you can use that to disengage with, or you can also use that for re-engage if the opponent is flashing away and they are still within kill range. So from level 2 and onwards, that's why you start playing aggressive. If it is the right matchups, mages, that's what you really like playing against. Something like a Yasuo is a pretty bad matchup because they can block out the Q with a wind wall and then you lose a lot of their damage because it becomes a lot harder to proc the passive. So play around the passive like this, guys. Proc the passive as well as the Electrocute and then you can re-engage, wait for your abilities to come back up and then you can go for another engage. That's kind of how you play Ekko. It's a champ that becomes extremely strong in the mid game as soon as you have the rocket belt, tier 2 boots and another legendary item. That's why you start taking over the game. You can one-shot 80 carries with a single basic combo as soon as you have the Rabadon stealth cap as well. So it's really fun to play, guys. You have really high kill pressure on lane, high solo carry potential as well. This is also how you can use the passive, also to disengage, because whenever you proc it, you get that burst of movement speed, so you can kind of use that to escape with as well. Your E, guys, the first part of it is a dash, as I said early on, so it can be used to hop over walls with, so you can use that to chase people or also to disengage if you're getting chased down. You get Dark Seal on your first base and then you build into the rocket build. That is the best mythic item that you can buy on Ekko, no matter who you're playing against. It is the absolute best mythic item, so always go for this, guys. This alternator here gives you a lot of burst damage in a single engage, so it really helps you with that bursting. Now that we have this ultimate, guys, so you see that clone thingy following you behind. When you use your ultimate, you're going to heal based on the damage you have taken in the last couple of seconds, and then you will go back to that clone, dealing massive AoE damage. So if you want the highest possible damage on Ekko, you have to make sure that people are lined up and they are standing on top of that clone, because that's where you will kind of appear again after you use that ultimate. Even though it deals a lot of damage, guys, most of the time it is an ultimate used to escape with after you bursted somebody down. Because if you're playing against a squishy team, then you don't even need that ultimate to burst somebody down with. Because your basic rotation is enough, and then you just use that ultimate to escape with. Also, something a lot of Ekko players like to do is that they don't skill this ultimate until they really need it. Because when you have this ultimate up, then this clone will appear behind you and then people can see it, right? So what they do is that they don't use this ultimate until the very last split second where they need it. That's kind of to catch the opponent off guard. I don't really do this myself because I play in higher elos where people know of this mechanic, so it's not going to work out. But if you're playing against people who don't really know how Ekko works, then this can definitely surprise them once, because you can only do this once. Of course, this passive is extremely useful for pushing out the waves as well. So make sure to hit the entire wave with both parts of your Q, so you can proc it properly. And that should be easy wave clear. If you are not fed on this champ, you're just farming up, then at level 9, where you have the maximum amount of points into a Q, that's why this ability will start one-shotting the backline minions. That's why your wave clear kind of comes online. So that's the point where you can start looking for roams, because then you can push fast and then you can also roam faster. But if you have a couple kills like I have in this game, then you can push out the wave faster, because of course you have more gold, so you'll be able to buy those AP items, giving you more damage to one-shot the minions anyways. Really try to look for that W snipe like this. If you notice how you use it, I try to use it from outside of the vision range, because then they will not see the first part of the W, so it's also a lot easier to catch them off guard. Just like your main engage tool, guys, also in fights, really have to make sure that you hit this W. When you use it in fights later on, when the team fight starts, or when you start fighting for objectives like the dragons, the Rift Herald, when you use it, try to flank people and then try to place it in a position where you think they will be escaping towards. Because then they will end up running into it when you chase them down, and that's going to be a very easy stun, or at least it is going to blow their summoner spells. So this is a champ that has a lot of presence in the early game, as well as the mid game, and he's also very strong in the late game. You're gonna absolutely one-shot every single squishy in the game. So just play for that power spike, guys. He's strong as soon as you finish the rocket build, but becomes way stronger when you finish the second legendary item, and then you also get the Rabinous Death Cap. That's why you just start one-shotting everybody. Also, you know how the Ekko has like double mobility in that E. As I said, the first part is a dash. So if Veigar cages you and you try to dash past it, you are going to get stunned. But the second part is a blink. So you can like dash first, and then you can use the blink to get past this cage, and that is going to work out, because then you will not get hit by the CC. Just keep pushing here, hit the entire minion wave with the Q. Make sure the passive procs on all of them. As you can see, level 9 that Q is going to one-shot the backline minions. So I have a lot better wave clear. Now we have the rocket belt, big power spike. The way you use it on Ekko specifically is that the active works as an auto attack reset. So when you engage with that EQ combo guys, you immediately use that active and then you can get that last auto attack off insanely fast. That's going to allow you to proc that passive really fast, so it works as instant burst damage. It's like the zero counterplay move. So you want to be able to do that most of the time, and if the target is out of range, then you can also use it as a gap closer. But if you want to use it as instant burst, as I said earlier, then EQ in and then immediately use that active for that auto attack reset to get that last auto attack off instantly, to proc that passive to deal massive amounts of burst damage. Now this meta where a lot of players are rushing the crown mythic item, that is of course a nerf to these assassin type champs like the Ekko, but it's not that bad for you specifically because you have the rocket belt. So you can use it to you can use the rocket belt active to take out the shield, and then you can re-engage once you have taken out the shield from the mythic item. So at this point, this is why you can upgrade it to the Magi Soul Stealer if you want to. You want to make sure that you at least have the mythic item before you do so. Otherwise that's going to be super risky. You definitely want the mythic item first, and then if you have a lot of stacks and you think you won't die that much, then you can upgrade the Dark Seal to the Magi Soul Stealer. Because we are playing against multiple AP champs and they also have decent amount of CC, Merc Threads would be really good here, but because I'm snowballing, I'm just going for straight damage. But if you are even with the enemy team right here and the enemy mid laner, then you can definitely go for the Mercury Threads because the tenacity as well as the magic resistance really helps you a lot against those AP champs. So now Victor has the crown here. Of course that is what's making him really strong this patch, season 12. So before you engage, take it out his shield with the mythic item, and then you can go for a re-engage. Keep in mind that that shielding passive stays up for like, I think it's 1.5 seconds or something, a bit more than that. So you really want to wait until it's completely on cooldown, and then you can look for the re-engage. Never use your entire burst damage when that mythic passive is up, because it is reducing a lot of your damage. Just look at that insane burst damage. We haven't even completed the second item yet, so it's going to get a lot better, guys. Just be patient, really farm up for those items, and you can also look for a lot of plays because that bonus movement speed you get from your passive really helps you kite. It also helps you re-engage, so if somebody flashes after getting hit by your initial rotation, then you still be able to catch up. You have a lot of mobility on this champ, so it makes him very strong in the silence. You have a lot of mobility, you also have a lot of CC, you have a lot of burst damage. So it is a champ that's very strong as a split pusher. He's going to struggle against those bruisers, but if you meet the enemy mid laner in the side lane, guys, then it's very hard for them to escape. So for the second item, after you finish boots as well as the rocket belt, you can go for Lich Bane or you can go for Nashor's Tooth. Now the last item I mentioned here, guys, that item gives you a lot of damage in extended fights. It has more AP, but Lich Bane is better for burst. So you kind of have to decide what you want to. If you're playing against a very squishy team, then you might as well go for the Lich Bane, because you're gonna finish them off in a single combo anyway, so that extra damage in extended fights is not going to help you out that much. You can of course also get both items. If you're doing so, then get one of the items as your very last item, because you definitely want Rabadon's Death Cap after this item is completed, because that gives you the most amount of damage. And you can get both Lichbane and Nashor's Tooth if you don't need the Sonya's Hourglass. Do you want to be split pushing after the laning phase is over? You have the mobility to help out your team with. You can see how much damage that Crown Mythic item is actually blocking out. I'm waiting, engaging onto that passive is up again, and that's how you finish off the target. You can see that circle below the enemy champion. It shows when the passive will be up again. So wait using your abilities once it's ready. Because a lot of your damage is in that passive, so you always want to play around it. You can see that E procs that Sheen passive guy, so it has a lot of burst damage to it. We just got killed by the Arcane combat there. That was a bit unfortunate. Normally I would have flashed it, but I did not expect it to finish me off, but it did. That's unfortunate. Sometimes you will end up dying with your ultimate up or your summoners up. It does happen, but it is what it is. Now that we do have the Lichbane, big power spike, gonna one-shot the targets for now, and then once we have the Rabadon's Death Cap, that's why we one-shot most champs in the game. That's why it becomes a lot more fun to play Ekko as well. Some newer Ekko players like to get Sonya's Hourglass after the Lichbane guys. Avoid doing that. It's a waste of gold because when you build the Sonya's Hourglass, you're losing some damage. You're falling behind the damage curve, and most of the time it results in the enemy champ not getting one shot, so they're gonna escape with like low HP. You already have the safety from your ultimate anyways, so you really want to make sure that you're getting the Rabadon's Death Cap after you finish the second item. Because that's what makes sure that people still get absolutely blown up in a single combo. Just look at this burst damage. Make sure that you get Rabadon's Death Cap after this. If they're stacking full MR, you don't care about the tank stacking MR, but if the AD carries and the mid laners are as well, then you can go for Void Staff. But in like 90% of the time you should be going for Rabadon's Death Cap. Because that is going to give you the highest possible burst damage. You just want to wait a bit here so we have enough gold for a large rod. And just push out the wave with the Q guys. It's obvious that the Nunu is trying to look for a snowball. We do have the ultimate up, and we also have the mobility from the rocket build and the E as well. So it should be easy to dodge your snowballs if you have the terrain nearby you that you can dash over. Split push as much as possible. You can play Ekko with teleport. Since we are playing him with Ignite, it's a bit riskier to split push because if something is happening on the other side of the map, then we will not be able to move in time. So you have to be really smart and not split push if you think that your teammates are getting caught. We want this wave to crash here, because otherwise we can risk the opponent trying to freeze it, so that's why I'm staying. He has a shield up, so we want to take that out first guys, so fake and engage. Take out the shield with a random ability, and then you can re-engage afterwards once your abilities are back up. He's very strong in the side lanes. Really make sure that you abuse his power in the side lanes. His split pushing potential. He can also take down towers really fast because of the Lichbane. That's a champ that you want to side lane with a lot. There's also another way that you can use the rocket belt. To make sure that you get that extra bit of range, so you can catch people inside that W. So now we have a lot of gold, so we definitely want to base here. You can get the Magi's, but at this point it's really late for me to get it guys. Normally you want to get it after the first mythic item, so you can abuse that early game damage. I'm going for the large rod instead, and then I'm just gonna prioritize building into the Rabadon's Death Cap. That's like a zero risk move, because we don't lose AP when we die. We're going to lose AP when we die with the Dark Seal as well as the Magi, so if we upgraded that, then if we die, then we're going to lose a lot of damage. I just ignored the control ward straight up because I knew they were going for the Baron, so I just went straight for it and also asked my teammates for help. And this actually resulted in us denying that Baron attempt completely. That's a really good move, and that's why it's important that you have really good awareness, because then you will know people are going for this kind of stuff even though you don't have any vision. So knowledge, awareness plays a huge part in your success in solo queue. Just look at that insane burst damage. That is the Ekko in the mid game, and it's going to get so much better as soon as we get the next item. Now we got the Rabadons. That's why you have to carry it no matter what. Even if you are behind in the game and your teammates are getting stumped, this is why you have to carry it, because you're gonna one-shot every single squishy in the game now. You can see passive dealing a lot of damage to the monster camps. That's why Ekko is also a strong jungler, only because of this passive. So you can also play him in the jungle if you want to. I prefer playing him as a mid laner because that is what I've been doing for a long time. But if you like the jungle role, you can also play him in the jungle. You're gonna one-shot every single squishy with a single rotation of your EQ and an auto attack. So you almost never need to use that ultimate for the damage. You just use it to get back to safety with. My teammates are getting caught in the bottom side. I am not wasting any time, so I'm taking the tower's top side, because if I waste the time going all the way to the bottom side, I will not be able to get anything, and it will end up being worse for the enemy team. So this way I get to pressure them a lot and also force the entire team to back off. Look at this burst damage as well as the healing, guys, because it does heal you based on the damage you have received in the last couple of seconds. So this is the power of Ekko. He's very good in those chaotic fights. He's very good at kiting people because of their passive movement speed. So it's a high playmaking champ. So if you are really good mechanically on this champ, you can pull off a lot of plays. And because of that Lich Bane, you're gonna one-shot the towers when they're like a bit low HP. So definitely make sure that you're prioritizing the objectives as well. Take down the towers if you see the opponents at the opposite side of the map. Really make sure that you're making it as hard for the enemy team as much as possible. Just taking away the jungle camps as well. I'm trying to pressure the enemy team, keeping them away from the Baron. Because if you stay out of vision, then the opponent team will also be very scared because of your W. Like, you can place it from anywhere. So they always have to be extremely careful whenever they try to face check. So that also adds a lot of pressure onto them. Just look at that ridiculous burst damage. We are sitting on a lot of gold, so we definitely want to base soon as well. So you can get the next item. Now you can get the Sonya's Hourglass if you want to. If you just want pure damage, then you can also get the Void Staff or the Nexus Tooth. It's very situational, and it also depends how the game is going for you. Now that we have a 700 gold bounty, guys, if we end up dying, we will end up giving a lot of gold away. So that's why the Sonya's Hourglass comes in, because that adds that extra layer of safety. Even if we get bursted down, we have the Sonya's Hourglass, and then we also have that ultimate. Another really good use case for the Sonya's Hourglass is the fact that it can help lining people up for your ultimate, because it buys you those extra seconds. So people will usually try to line up on top of you so they can finish you off, and then you can kind of hit all of them with your ultimate. This is not going to work against the good players, but sometimes people will not respect it, and then you might be able to one-shot somebody with that ultimate. So this is what happens if you don't respect the opponent's CC, because they can't chain CC you. I went for the greedy build with the sock shoes. I could have went for the mercury threads, but I was snowballing, so I don't have any tenacity. That means that if they chain CC me, they can finish me off before I get to use either the Sonya's Hourglass or my ultimate. So be extremely careful of those chain CCing abilities. That's why if they have a team composition with a lot of CC, then you can go for tenacity, runes as well as items. You can get mercury threads, and then you can also get legend tenacity in the precision tree. And if you're going for that, then you also want the presence of mind, which gives you extra bit of mana regen, especially when you get a takedown. But this page I went for right here is the best scaling one, where you get both Gathering Storm and then you also get Absolute Focus, so you're gonna scale insanely well. I bought the pot here, that costs a lot of gold, but if you're going for a very crucial fight like we are right now, then it can be absolutely worth it, because it gives you that temporary AP spike. And you can see that damage is definitely paying off. Just casually taking out 3 people with a single passive proc, and that's the power of Ekko. You can do stuff like this, but keep in mind if they have bruisers with items like the Xerax Gauge and all the tanky items, it can be extremely hard to burst them down. So we denied the enemy team come from taking that dragon, because for us that means the soul. So it's like a very important fight for us. We really want to deny them this attempt. We got the flash out of the Victor as well as his passive. So he's going down as well, and that will allow us to secure the dragon soul. And this one is the Infernal. It's of course the one you really like to have on these assassin type champs, because that gives you the most amount of damage. At this point in the game, your passive is a stronger version of Smite, so if you time it well, then you can outsmite people because of how much damage it deals. I ended up dying with the ultimate and Sonya's Hourglass up. It is going to happen sometimes where you don't respect the opponent's damage, where you think you can dodge it but you don't, so you end up dying anyways. It is going to happen when you play Ekko. But now we are full build, we have the Sonya's Hourglass. If you think you are in a game where you don't need it, then you can get the other item. So this game we got Lichbane, so the other item would be the Nashor's Tooth. This item you can get now instead of Sonya's Hourglass. And if you got Nashor's early on, then you can get Lichbane. That gives you insane amount of damage, but you also have full glass cannon, so you don't have any safety besides your ultimate. Now we kinda just have to group as a team. Late game Ekko, so you can split push, but you have so much damage that you're gonna obliterate anyone in a team fight. So if you're playing with a team that gets caught a lot, then just group up. Stay nearby, you know, try to catch people off guard. So this was a obvious attempt from them. I should have known when I saw that Victor was in that brush, because otherwise he would never go for it. But it did work out for them, so it bought them some extra time where I went down. This is why I did not buy Meta Soul Stealer this game, because I'm actually dying a lot. Because when you have that ultimate, then it's pretty hard to get kills on Ekko. But my teammates are cleaning up, so that's of course perfect. But you should not be dying in these cases. And this is another case where tenacity would have been a big help. I am playing it very greedy though. You should definitely not do that. If they have a high CC team with a lot of AP champs, then make sure that you're getting those merc threads. Now all we can do is just keep buying those AP pots. And then we have to push it mid as a team, so we can go for the final push and then we can end it. Because one successful team fight is going to allow us to end, because at this point in the game, when we have so much AP, we're going to absolutely destroy the objectives. So we will be able to take them down insanely fast. So we just have to look for the pick, And that's what you want to do with your W. Stay out of range, get a pick with your W. If you do that, then you should be able to end the game. Just have to look for that one shot. If you manage to do that, guys, then it's GG's. Be patient. Look for the carries. You're playing an assassin, so I have to look for the squishy targets. It doesn't matter if it's a Janna support, carry mid lane, or AD carry. Just go for the squishy target, finish them off, and then you can re-engage afterwards. So we got down the Victor. They still have a few carries up though, but they're pretty easy to one-shot, as you can see. A single rotation is going to finish them off with. And that is GG's. They are not able to defend anymore because all of the carries are down. So that is it for their game, and this is how you play Ekko. Play him like an assassin where you flank the enemy team, and they should end up working out if you play it properly. So I hope this video was helpful. As always, thank you so much for watching, guys, and see you all in the next video.